No banter?
Do we need banter? Do you know this song? I'm gonna go back to school again.
No.
Grease 2. Yeah, let's just start.
Well, hello, and welcome to your favorite podcast show, Are We Better Friends Yet? With Dianne van Giersbergen.
That's me.
Hi. And yours truly, Marcelo Bovio. We already have 2 episodes out, and now we are up for the 3rd one.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for tuning in again to hear us chat about today's topic, which is back to school.
Back to school.
Yeah.
Yes. Are we really doing this? Really going back to school?
No.
Okay, good.
We are metaphorically, spiritually, sort of.
Yeah.
Back. No.
Okay, I'll start crying later.
But anyway, well, yeah, I am actually very curious to hear your stories about school.
Oh.
So I don't think we've never talked about it all that much.
I don't think so. No.
So I think it's going to be interesting.
Yep.
And because there's probably some things that are very different from our upbringings, but also maybe some things that are similar.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we go into the nitty gritty, Dianne, how was your week?
Oh, my week. Yeah, I guess good. I've made my way to my jury studio more often now.
Cool.
So I'm starting to be creative again, which I love. I've really missed it over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have. Let's see. I just got to figure out when this will air.
Math.
Yeah, math something. Yes, that's a topic for later. I'm just gonna say it. I have 2 videos coming out. Not my band. But videos in which I feature, which is really cool.
Oh, cool. Do you mean like you've been doing some singing for some other projects?
Yeah,
other than
you
your
know
own?
this sabbatical thing that I was on. Yeah,
Yes.
I cheated here and there. Yeah, I did. So I've with Archie Kane, he's going to release his debut album, and I'm featuring in the video of the single, which is called Eden. And then there's another band, also from England, by the way, and they are called Ritual, and they have a song called 7 Gates, and I'm also in there. And
Nice.
that also made it to a video. So, yeah.
And what kind of music do these bands make?
Good question. For me, the music that Archie Kane, because I don't know if I'm supposed to say the title of the album yet, so I'm just going to say debut album. For me, it reminds me very much of Arian, which I love that.
Okay. Proggy?
And I'm more the folky part maybe than.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, more that. But it also has some big Sandria hits in there. Hits like notes and yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's more that. And then Ritual. This is, and here you will get to know how bad I am in genres that are not symphonic metal.
No. I mean, you don't have to like name a genre. You could just.
Yeah, this is like very rough rock/metal music. It's not symphonic at all. Imagine this. It is totally different from everything that you would normally find me doing, and that's exactly why I thought, hey, this is interesting.
Well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
and so
exciting.
cool, on the Archie project, also Damien Wilson is involved.
Oh, I love Damien.
Yeah. And with Ritual, can I say this? I really need to think when things come out, you know. Yes, I think I can say that. With Ritual, there's also Anneke van Giersbergen.
If you can't say it yet, then we'll just beep.
Huh? What?
If it was too early when we release this episode, we will just bleep it out.
Oh, yeah. So it will be bleep and bleep. Awesome,
We'll be
people.
beep and beep.
No, I think I can say it. So we will be Anneke van Giersbergen,
Cool.
who has the same surname as I have.
But it's not your relative?
Yeah, is not related.
Check.
Unless we get married at some point, but that's for later on. And Devin Townsend.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And when I heard that, I was like, ooh, intriguing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing people to collaborate
It's a nice
with.
list, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the list is nice, but the bands are nice. So that's actually why I joined.
Brilliant.
So that's me.
Yay.
How are you?
Well, I'm doing good. It's been an interesting week.
You want to share?
I don't know. Do I want to share?
I don't know if you do.
Okay, listen, I'm going to share.
Woo.
As you know, I'm single. And, well, this week I started trying out a dating app. Yes. It has been a very interesting experience. I'm not sure if I like it, though. It's just, how much can you tell from a person by just from just like watching a picture of them and a little description? Like, for me, that's no indication whether you're going to have a click with someone or not.
No.
Like, you definitely have to meet them.
You have to meet them to see if there's chemistry.
Yeah. But anyway, so my problem is that I was already addicted to my phone.
Oi.
And addicted to social media a little bit.
No.
So there is a little addictive element, you know, like to seeing what's out there.
Who likes me? Yeah.
Yes. but you know the how impersonal it is, I don't know. I'm not sold.
So here's a devilish question for you. Are you now also grading people, men? Like, oh, he's a 7 or he's an 8. Ooh.
No, well,
he's a 10.
I mean, the first check that you have is left or right. And that's it, right?
Okay.
So if it doesn't really matter all that much until you have a match. And then you can compare your matches. Okay, so fair enough. There might be some grading involved. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to continue.
No.
It's weird.
I've never done this. I've seen people do this.
Yeah.
And I've always thought, hey, can I swipe? But then for you, because I also wouldn't. I don't know. Would I?
But now it feels like a game, like a video game, you know?
In which you are very good.
Thank you.
So have you figured out what the levels are in this game?
I think so. No, I don't know. But no, so figuring out. We'll see how it turns out. And then yesterday I had a very interesting experience because some of my friends, including you, and you are very awesome. You gave me this brilliant present for my birthday.
You went floating.
I went floating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I floated. It sounds probably very weird for the people that don't know.
Explain what this is.
So floating, for those of you who don't know it, is basically like a therapeutical kind of
I think so.
experience.
Mindfulness as well.
Yeah. So you go to this place where they have these floating cabins, which are like little rooms that have a bath, a little bath with salt water.
Yeah.
And the bath is very shallow, so you can actually sit in there. But then when you go lie down, because the water has a lot of salt, you float. And
oh, really? Like the Dead Sea?
Like the Dead Sea, yeah. So so you can close the door of the cabin where the bath is in, and then you're in total silence. And if you want, because you can turn off all the lights, in total darkness. So
but you have the option to leave on.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
lights.
You can leave the lights on if you want.
Okay.
But I mean, the really full experience is to have the lights off as well. So I was floating, like basically like this sort of like zero gravity experience, because the water is also like the exact temperature of your body, and the air is also like the same temperature of your body, and then you don't see anything, you don't hear anything, you're just like floating like in space. It was brilliant.
Really?
Oh, I love it.
You already told me that you loved it, and
I loved it. I can, like, I seriously, okay, this is gonna sound very weird, but I had like emotional breakthroughs.
Really?
Yeah, just lying there. Yeah, it was amazing.
Great.
But anyway, okay, so let's get to it, because this episode is about school.
Yeah.
Going back to school. And we'll be sharing stories and memories from our days back then when we were in school. But maybe we should first sum up which schools we went to and how our whole educational background looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So should I start?
If you want to. Yeah.
Well, I think mine is not very exciting. Well, I went to preschool, elementary school, and half of my high school period, because in Mexico that is 6 years in total. On a Catholic school, a private Catholic school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In Mexico, it was all girls.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have to wear uniforms?
We wore uniforms.
Are there pictures of this?
I don't know. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah.
I bet I have. If I don't have any, I bet my parents have some. We had to wear uniforms. And, well, there were nuns there. And they were very strict with the uniforms and stuff. Yeah.
This really sounds like the education my parents had.
It's kind of like, like a little
school.
bit old school. Yeah. I could appreciate the fact that it was a private school. So, like, educational level, the educational level was, like, decent. I mean, I have nothing to compare it to, but I can imagine that it was okay. But I don't like the ideas that they put in our head, because I can remember that when I was like in 5th grade on elementary school, we had a lesson like in theology, like God and whatnot, God and stuff.
That would be such a good URL. Godandstuff.com.
Godandstuff.com. But and our teacher, it wasn't a nun, but one of those women that are like married but are like super religious. And she was telling us about marriage and how the whole purpose of marriage was having kids.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you don't have kids, your marriage is
Sucks.
not fulfilled.
Yeah, consummated.
Yeah. Like, if you don't procreate, like, your marriage is worthless, basically. And my feminist forward thinking little head, I was already thinking like, but I mean, it can also mean that, two people live together and to, like, work on each other and become better people. And she was like, no.
Really? That's strict?
Very strict.
Oy.
And we weren't allowed to talk to boys. Because there would be boys like peeking into the grounds of the school. It was a very large terrain, and they had like a big yard. And there were like little doors, like fenced doors, like where people would enter and
it's
stuff.
really movie-esque what you're telling us right now. Yeah.
And there was like a secret. This is how I remember it. Like a secret non-convent part, that you weren't allowed to enter.
Okay.
And a few of my friends and me were like, at some point, like, tried to sneak in, because we were thinking like, oh, there's gonna be like mysterious
books and
and
things
like
going on,
magical
cult things.
Yeah, cult things.
yeah. Rituals.
Anyway, so nuns, great, and then the
skipping over the weird stuff.
So the second half of high school, which in Mexico is called preparatoria, then I went to another kind of school, and then it was like mixed, so boys and girls. And no uniform, so it was a little bit more normal.
Oh, wow.
And then
this must have been quite the awakening.
Well, I basically like didn't know how to interact with people. we will get there, but I was very shy when I was in elementary school. Extremely shy. I barely had any friends. I had one girlfriend, and
she was imaginary. No. Sorry.
I don't remember having any actual imaginary friends, but I was in my head a lot of the time. So I was always like making stories, reading books. Like, I spent a lot of time reading books in the library when I was a little girl in elementary school. But anyway, so then I went to preparatoria, which is the second half of high school. And there, I started hanging out with the alternative kids and the middle kids.
Here it comes.
And so that was cool. And then I made some of my best friends there that I still see actually. And
As is the Chino gang.
yes, hola Chino. And then I went to college. Basically, I did in Mexico. It's university. I think in the Netherlands is equivalent of an HBO.
Mm-hmm.
And I studied computer systems engineering.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's when you became smart. No, you were already smart. That's when people
Yeah.
start to notice how smart you are.
No, I think this is gonna sound very pretentious, but I think I was already smart because I was
Oh, yeah, of
very
course.
because I was very bored in school. Very
That's
bored.
a sign. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
So half of high school, the last 3 years of high school, when I was already on that other institution, the Universidad de Monterrey.
Bless you.
Thank you. I remember like last year, I was asleep like 60% of the time
Really?
in the classes. Yeah.
Okay. And how old were you?
I don't know, like 16, 17.
Okay.
How old are you
Could-
when you're
could-
15?
Could also be
17?
clubbing, tiredness, going out, and
Maybe.
yeah, okay. Yeah, so
Yeah, no, but I was just bored.
yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah,
Super bored. But I liked computer systems.
Yeah.
That was a little bit more challenging.
and so then when you were studying that, then you weren't tired and sleeping in class, and then you became
I had to be a little bit more focused. So
But were you
Well-
motivated or?
yeah. I think that's the reason why I ended up choosing it actually, because
Okay.
I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to study.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that I wanted to do something with music, but that my parents said like, well, in Mexico you can't really earn a good living, from
yeah.
music, so you
Yeah.
might as well like do a study
Yeah.
and then do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I went to the vocational counselor, and my options were music conservatorium, psychology, or computer systems engineering.
Yeah.
And I did some tests and whatever. And at the end, she said, like, well, you could do any of these things, but you have all of these aptitudes that you would be wasting if you would study psychology or music. And you could like use all of these, abilities that you have
Yeah.
if you study computers.
Wow.
And
So you were actually pointed in the good direction. Because my story is different.
But anyway, I'm glad that I did, because I learned a whole bunch of things that have helped me do a lot of things that I do now.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here, for instance, because I
No, that's true.
Yeah,
it brought
I
you
also
to
work in the Netherlands, and
yeah.
coming to the Netherlands was a lot easier for me because I found a job in IT.
Yeah, but you really came to the Netherlands because a company wanted you here, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Programming is cool. No, seriously, I love it, and it's it can also be very creative, and it's very challenging, and it's like solving puzzles, and I really like that kind of thing. Yeah.
I like solved puzzles. Especially with color. No. Okay, I'm going weird again.
But this is a little bit in a nutshell my education story.
Woohoo! Well,
Yeah.
I try to tell mine in a slightly bigger nutshell.
Yeah.
But because it's quite complicated, I've tried to find proper translations from the Dutch school system to English, and I found them, but they are really difficult to pronounce.
Okay, hit it.
Well, of course, I also started with preschool and then elementary school. I guess everyone does, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you're like a brainiac.
Oh, you mean people that can skip?
Yeah.
I guess there are some. Yeah. Okay,
Like
but yeah.
nowadays Mozarts like that.
Doogie Howser.
Okay, so secondary school, we're there, or as they say in the USA, high school.
Yeah.
The level appropriate for me to enter at, or so my elementary teachers said was the preparatory, secondary, vocational education.
Preparatory, secondary, vocational education.
Yes.
Preparatory, secondary.
Yeah, it's a very good thing for a Scrabble or something. Which is called in the Netherlands, because I know we have a lot of Dutch listeners as well. This is the MAVO I'm talking about.
Okay.
See how small a word it is in Dutch?
Yeah, it's great.
MAVO.
Well, it's an abbreviation.
Yeah,
right?
of course, but no one knows.
Okay.
So it's just the MAVO. So I went there, but I already knew that I wanted to study music at the conservatory. And in order to do so, I needed one level higher.
Oh. But you always knew.
Oh, yes.
Yeah? Ever since you were in elementary school.
Yeah. I could not
Really?
even pronounce the word. And I already knew that this
Conservatorium?
was me. Yeah. Because in Dutch it's conservatorium.
Did you hold like concerts on at your house?
Well, actually, the first time I sang with an orchestra, I was 6.
What?
Yeah, it was, well, of course, in my village and with the what's it called, fanfare, like brass band,
Oh, wow.
and it was just like this tiny Christmas song. But yeah, it was very, very little.
Cool.
Yeah, so that I've always known, because as soon as I started to sing, people would listen and notice me, which we'll come to talk about. Didn't happen otherwise. So I knew that I wanted to go there, but that was one level higher. So I thought, okay, then I'll finish this one first and then continue with secondary school to the level of senior general, which is in Dutch HAVO.
Mm-hmm.
After which I could go and study music.
Okay, cool.
But here comes the first but.
Okay.
I have this thing called dyscalculia. Which is number dyslexia.
Oh.
So that's why not only math, but also reading a clock and remembering digits and times is very hard for me. And they always scramble in my head.
Is that literally what it is? That you see numbers and the order?
Yeah.
It gets confused in your head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had to do for history on the conservatory, because I finally made it there at some point. We had to fill in these dates, of course, like when's Mozart born and stuff. And I would like scramble everything. But my teacher there understood, and he would walk by and he said, you have the correct digits, but now scramble them again.
Oh, that is so
was
sweet.
So nice.
Yeah.
So he understood, but the first part of my story wasn't as gracious as that teacher. Because, well, so I have this disability, which wasn't recognized, and I have to sneak peek, which led to very low math grades. And because of these grades, that prevented me from continuing my journey in secondary school. So the only route left for me was to go to vocational training, which in Dutch is the MBO. Finish that, and then I could finally go to the conservatory.
Yeah.
Here's the second but.
Okay. Oh my God.
The vocational training was really, 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 really not for me. I was told by the same counselor, well, not the same counselor, but by a counselor.
Was she here?
Yeah, I wish I had yours. Because mine said, hey, you can go do this thing and become an activity supervisor. And then you can be creative with like elderly people or disabled people. And there you can put a lot of your own creativity in the mix. So I was like, I can do that study that for 4 years and then move to the conservatory.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't like that at all. So
how
after
come?
2 years of studying that, I really couldn't do that anymore. And I decided that, well, I don't know how to make it now, but I have to quit.
Because that didn't have anything to do with music at all.
No, nothing. It's like, well, for people who live in an elderly home, you have to come up with some form of entertainment, and then they have to do it. And I thought I would be the entertainer.
Oh.
But you have to create programs.
Just like social work, basically.
Yeah, it is social work. And I really have a lot of respect for people who can do that.
But that's not what you wanted to do.
No. Well, it's deeper. It's not me.
Yeah.
I am an entertainer.
Yeah.
I am not the one who says, here, you go and entertain. No,
Yeah.
no. That's me. I need to be the entertainer.
I knew.
Yeah, this. But then I still needed to find my way to study music. So I looked for another secondary school. So I went one step back. So I looked for a different secondary school than the first one I went to, one that would accept me at the level of senior general.
Yeah.
And then I met this angel of a teacher who, during my intake, after me sharing my story, understood how important it was for me to study music. And she said, I believe you. And if you promise me that you will do everything to reach a good math grade, then I'll accept you in this school. So I promised. And then, and believe it or not, it really happened. I took every math class twice.
Wow.
Yeah. So there would be 2 blocks.
Yeah.
Group A, Group B.
Wait, you mean like in the same year?
Yeah.
You went to twice as many lessons?
For math, yeah. Yeah.
Oh
I did
my God.
I did every lesson twice. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But can you imagine being a teacher and having a student who is that devoted to your profession?
I'm flabbergasted. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, so the teacher, he was really into how devoted I was.
Yeah, of course.
And he started to help me out. And he actually said, this lesson we have here now, this subject, this is something you're good at, or at least you can understand. So maybe if we can work together and you get a high grade for this, then you can fail something you do not get.
Wow.
And it worked. It really worked. Yeah. Can you imagine that one level lower in secondary school, my math grade was a 4. And just to explain, here in the Netherlands, we have a ranking of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest.
Okay.
So I had a 4. And now one level higher, my end exam, I had a 7.
Wow.
I'm still so happy.
I love the excitement on your face.
Yes, because I still cannot believe that I actually did that.
Well, you worked super hard.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So I managed to
Sorry, I'm a little touched by your excitement.
Yeah,
it's so cute.
Sweet. Oh, you have tears in your
Yeah.
eyes. Oh, thank you. Yeah, because there was nothing else that no.
You knew.
Yeah, it's just that is what I had to do.
Oh.
So then I had my degree finally, and then I got accepted at the Artes University of the Arts Conservatory.
Yay!
Where I studied classical music and then, of course, singing, bachelor and later on master.
Wow. How many years did this take you?
Well, I made a how did I call it?
A chart?
I made a roadmap.
A roadmap.
Yeah, because the way I walk through this whole system is really
Right.
complicated. So I will take a picture of this.
We'll share it in the
It will be
in our social
content
media.
up
Yeah.
on our socials. Let's see. Well, everyone goes to elementary school, so that doesn't count. So then secondary school, the first level I did is 4 years. Vocational training 2 years. I did the top of the senior general secondary school.
Ah,
So
okay.
that's 2 years as well. And then conservatory.
Wow.
Which was for 6 years.
You would
Bachelor
have
and
loved
master.
the Metal Factory if it already existed back then.
Maybe, yeah.
Because that was an MBO.
Yes, and that didn't exist in my time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no music education at vocational training level. Yeah.
Can I explain just very quickly?
Yes,
The Metal
you
Factory is is a vocational education. So it can also be preparation for like a higher musical education, like conservatory, that is here in Eindhoven where I live. And it's all focused on metal music, which is brilliant.
Which is awesome. And Marcela, you are a teacher there.
I teach vocals at the Metal Factory. It's really cool, really cool. Wow, what a journey.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
So cool. You're very sweet.
I mean, I think it's just very inspiring. Like, you had this challenge, but you knew what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And you didn't let it stop you, and you worked your ass off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
That's so
I always
great.
make the joke that it was either this or being a dolphin trainer that I wanted to be when I was a little girl. I've said this in many interviews.
A dolphin trainer.
Yeah, but it's just a joke. And then
We
I
could
said,
be petting dolphins right now.
yeah, we could have. But then I said, well,
Oh, man.
they wouldn't have me, the dolphins. So then, well, option B, becoming a singer.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that
congratulations.
everyone knows our roots, our
Yeah.
educational roadmaps.
We can finally move into our statements.
Oh my God.
Okay, well, statement number 1, which is from you. Actually, the statement number 1 is from you, and it is: school, a sanctuary for the soul or a bully's playground? And I was very intrigued by this, because this must mean that you have a struggle with bullying.
Yes, big one. Yeah, I think I've been bullied in almost every school except the conservatory.
No.
Yes. And the worst was by far elementary school.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it?
Well, we can, but there's nothing that comes to mind to start with. But of course, if we start chatting about these stories, will come. I didn't have any friends. No one would get me. And this is a stupid thing, except when I was singing. So I knew that this was kind of special. But on the other hand, it was also weird because, well, so if I perform a trick, an art form, you like me all of a sudden, you know? You want to be my friend now because I can sing a nice note. Yeah.
But I cannot imagine like why anyone would.
Well, I wasn't a
Bless
skinny
you.
kid to start with.
Really?
No. I love eating. Look, you are very good at painting a vivid picture about food. We've all heard it in the last episode.
Yes.
I was the one maybe being more silent, but definitely eating twice the amount.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
I had a big appetite. And people always said, oh, she's a healthy kid. So I was quite heavy. Definitely grew out of it as soon as adolescence hit. But yeah, the kids in my town, they couldn't handle that. I also, of course, was a lot in my head, had my own mind made up, and I wanted to become a singer. So yeah, you could say that I was already artistic and not afraid to show it. And I don't know. Yeah. I remember that most of the classes in elementary school I was playing with friends of my sister, who was 1 year below me, and they all felt sorry for me, so I would play with her friends.
Aw. But could you find some solace in hanging out with them? Some comfort?
But I also remember that this must have been group 5 or group 6. The teachers went up to me and said you cannot play with them again because then you will not connect with people from your own class. So I wasn't allowed during break to go stand by my sister.
That makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Why? I mean,
But it did happen. And believe me, I didn't connect with anyone of the class.
but that's a little bit short-sighted, right? From the teachers? Like,
Well, it was an attempt. So maybe that would work.
lousy one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know.
Yeah. I also tried to connect with new kids that came in because, well, they didn't know my reputation of being the one everyone bullied. So I tried to connect with them, But then other kids would come up and say, no, you don't want to hang with her.
Oh my God, that is
but
so mean.
Kids are mean. Let me rephrase that. Those kids were mean, and there are also adults that are really mean. It's a completely different story, of course.
Yeah.
But it did prepare me for society because bullies never grow up.
I guess
they remain
so.
bullies.
Really? Yeah? You think so?
Well, I think in my career, I might have come across a few bullies. Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. You must have as well.
Oh,
I know everyone in the
definitely.
corporate business. Everyone knows a bully at work. Must be.
Yeah. No, well, I do believe. Maybe I'm naive, but I want to think that there's always a good in people, and that people can change. And I also had some experiences with bullying when I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
Although I think at some point, because I just had one friend, and for most of elementary school, right, I was very shy. I wouldn't talk to all that many people. And at some point, I started hanging out with more like the rebel girls, the bad girls. But I can very explicitly
At elementary school.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, they were
in Mexico.
they
They smoke cigars, right?
we smoke cigarettes
At
school.
Wait, no.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
still talking about.
It was the first part of secondary school, because I was still at the
secondary school.
with the nuns.
Yeah.
And the school had this very big yard with very large trees, so we called it the forest, because it was like very very green and very foliagey. That's not a word.
But I know what you mean.
we smoked cigarettes.
Wow.
Yeah, at school, and we felt so cool, and taste like ass, but we felt really cool. But I do very explicitly remember that they didn't accept me right away. So in the beginning, I was trying to hang out with them, and I don't. If I think about it, I think what was it so nice for me to be around those people that were mean to me? They were, they made fun of me as well, and.
But did they also make fun of other children? Worse than they made fun of you?
I think so. I don't remember. I have to be brutally honest. I was so disconnected from reality when I was in elementary school and secondary school that I don't remember much. So I was living in my head, and that's I think what helped me become very creative. But so I don't remember much. But I do very explicitly remember that in the beginning, when I tried to hang out with them, they first teased me a lot,
and then you hang out with them.
At some point, I kind of plucked out the girls that I thought okay,
those are kind of okay.
Those are kind of okay. Yeah. And then I started hanging out with them more.
Yeah.
I kind of created a little space between me and the people that were a little bit more aggressive. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I definitely felt that as well. But yeah, it's so weird how mean kids can be.
Yeah, and then imagine being a child right now with social media involved. It's horrible. I mean, I can honestly say that I had a horrible time at elementary school, but I'm so thankful that there was no social media yet.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think I could cope. It's so much.
Yeah, I hear stories from friends who have children at elementary school or secondary school already, and what they go through, the how do you say this? Beschuldigingen? What's it again? I'm stuck with education, but it's the claims that people have on one another, and I really cannot find the word. I need the accusations.
Accusations.
Oh, damn it! Yes. It's nowadays. Of course, there's a lot of things that is wrong with how men treat women. But I've heard a story of a close friend whose son is accused by a girl.
Yeah.
Of harassment, and he's completely oblivious. I didn't do anything, I think. And it's through social media, this blows up like in your face.
Yeah.
Gets way bigger than it would have been in our days.
Yeah. Yeah. I cannot imagine. One of my best friends from Mexico, he has teenage daughters already.
Yeah.
And the stories that he tells us of what his daughters go through at school, it's such a different world than...
It frightens me a bit.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Because this is the next generation.
Do you think it's inevitable? Bullying?
Yes. Yeah. I think there's no cure for this. Because, well, everyone will tell you it's not you. It's the bully's fault, There's something wrong with him or her. But there is, of course, something wrong, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't damage you. Yeah. And there will always be something wrong in society. And those people will find themselves crammed with emotion, and then they will, how do you say that?
Yeah, react it out on other people.
Yeah. And then, if you frequently do this on the same person because he or she is an easy target, then then you have a bully. Some people just do it because they like the feeling of being better than you. Some people really, I'm convinced, need to feel better, and they can only do this by making other people feeling smaller.
But you know why? Because that's what they feel at home. At home, someone is making them
probably
small.
Yeah. This is when we're talking about a child. It's obviously a parent. He or she is mirroring.
It passes on.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, it's. Are you still with us, you listeners?
Well, no, I think it's important to talk about these things, and
Also because I can imagine in the mental community, like we are all creative people. I think maybe not that mainstream.
Yeah.
A lot of us must get these weird looks and comments, and
I think probably
find
a lot
hard to get accepted.
Yeah, a lot of people in our community can identify with
that's
with
what
this.
I wanted to say. Yeah.
To have been through this, but if you have, then know that you are not alone. Because
no, and there's also always the option for you to start a podcast.
Yes, or make some metal.
Oh yeah.
So how about we move to statement number 2?
Yeah, which is by you.
Yes. Statement number 2 is, I was the teacher's pet.
Yes, were you?
I was.
Yeah. when I saw this come by, I was like, there's another difference between us.
No, but listen, I was the teacher's pet up to the last year of elementary school, when I started hanging out, with the bad chicks.
Oh, yeah.
But before that, I was very shy. I was extremely shy.
And the nuns like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't talk, so I was just I always pay attention in class. And
I really see a picture of you, like this little girl with carols, and then in the front row, and like
it was probably a little bit like that. And I was a little bit obsessive with performing well in school. I don't know why. So
you really don't know why? It's in your nature.
Really?
Yes, of course.
I have an explicit memory of, I had a test. And I was very worried because I knew we had like a guide of all of the questions, or kind of like the questions that we were going to get. And there were 2 answers that in my vision, like they liked, they were very similar.
Yeah.
So I was very stressed. Like, I think in the exam, I'm going to get confused and I'm going to get them wrong. So I actually made a little cheat sheet for the exam, because I was so,
Where did
worried,
you hide it?
Worried. I don't remember, but I got caught.
No.
I was traumatized. Traumatized.
You fell from grace.
I felt, but the teacher, I explained, I was so worried that I was going to get it wrong, because the answers are so similar.
Yeah.
That's why I did it, and she believed me.
Really?
Yeah, because I always got
There were no
like
100 Hail Marys?
no, thank God, no. But I always got straight tens.
Oh, wow.
So when I explained, they believed me. Yeah.
Aww. Yeah, but with those eyes and then blinking, I think you can get away with everything. Put that on your...
Well, apparently everything except, getting some matches and... Never mind.
Yeah, I was also referring to that. Put the cheat sheet on there. A picture, a gif of you blinking. That would do it.
A GIF.
Yeah.
Oh, good one. You see, these are the tips that I need. But anyway, but from the last year of elementary school on, then I started getting less good grades. They were still pretty okay, but then I wasn't the teacher's pet
So the
anymore.
teachers didn't pet you anymore.
No.
And then later on, did you have a special teacher?
Oh, definitely. I remember some very, very cool people that I really admired in university, especially. I don't remember her name, but I had this awesome teacher. I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna name her in the social media posts, because she was a computer systems engineer as well.
Yeah. Oh, she.
Yeah. She. And I'm telling you, this class we were with maybe 4 women, 4 or 5 women.
And how many men?
At least
1,000.
12. Yeah. No, it was not such a big a class, but I think there were like 12, 15 men and like 3 women. No, 4 or 5 women, which was already a lot.
Yeah.
So for me to see her, and she was great, very inspirational and a great teacher. So the classes were very, very dynamic and very interesting.
Yeah.
And I thought she was very cool.
Yeah.
She was like this cool gal who was also mega smart, and I really liked her. I really admire her. Yeah.
So was she kind of an example for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very inspiring. I mean, I think I took it for granted that I could do anything that I wanted as a woman, even though Mexico is quite backwards thinking. Monterrey, where I come from, I think it's a little bit, in the dark ages when it comes to women and the things that you can and can't do. I'm sorry, people, but that's how it is.
Does explain all the accents.
Yeah. But because my mom is so awesome and I always got it from her that I could do whatever I wanted, I never doubted it. But it was also very cool to see a woman excelling at that, So it was really cool.
Yeah, it's remarkable also.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
in that profession. But so glad to hear that you had that.
Yeah. She wasn't the only one. I think we had, I can remember 2 other female teachers, and I thought it was really cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I had sort of the same experience at the conservatory. Yes, because I need to explain a little bit. You have different vakken. What's this?
Classes?
Classes, subjects. And then, of course, you study one instrument is really your main goal. And for me, that was singing. So you have a one-on-one with that teacher, and the other one are in smaller groups. But having this one-on-one for hours and hours, well, of course, some of the teachers hold off on that, but others really, you form a connection with them.
Yeah.
And the soprano that taught me, her name is Elena Vink, and wow, she really became my vocal mommy. I love her to bits, still do. She's an amazing woman, really open-minded. Because when I joined, I also explained, hey, I also sing in a progressive metal band. Is that a problem over here? And she was totally open for that. She also came to concerts.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I don't know if she really understood.
But she made an effort. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, but she sang a lot of modern music as well. So that's, well, it does have some overlap here and there. And she can definitely understand and how many factors go into and the balance you have as a singer in a metal band, the balance between not singing too loud, staying with your technique. So many things to think of, and she could really understand that. And the big difference, of course, between classical music and metal music, or any kind of popular music, is that classical music is acoustic.
Yeah.
And then with a band, we're on stage, and lots and lots of noise, and we work with in-ears. Mm-hmm. If you're lucky. If you're unlucky, then you're working with wedges.
Do we need to explain?
In-ears? That is in-ear monitoring. So means having a monitor in your ears, and most of the time you can choose which instruments you have on there.
So when you're performing live,
yeah,
you need to hear back what you're doing, right? So when you're singing and you're singing in a stage, and there's a lot of noise, you can't hear yourself singing. So you need some feedback. So you either have a speaker on the floor.
Yeah, which in the early days, this was all I had.
Yeah. And that's called a floor monitor.
Yeah, or I've always called them
wedges. Yeah, they also call them wedges.
Wedgies.
So basically, it's like a speaker that it's on the floor, and they put your vocals there so that you can hear yourself
as loud as they can.
As loud as they can. But that's very problematic because if they put them very loud, it's gonna come through your microphone, and that creates this lovely thing we call feedback, which is a very excruciating beep.
It's not the feedback you want.
If you're lucky, you have in-ear monitors, which are headphones, basically in-ear headphones that go right in your ear.
Yeah.
And then there is hopefully someone who can create
a nice mix
of the instruments that are being played and your own voice. And you hear that straight in your ear.
Yeah.
And it blocks out most of the
That's
noise.
Also very important, yes,
outside.
Because if you work with a floor monitor, then there's still a lot of sound surrounding you. And if you work with in-ear monitoring, then it's a very okay level.
Yeah.
Or at least if you have a bigger stage. Because if you're near to the drummer with an in-ear monitor, you will go nuts. It still gives me the chills.
Hey, looking at
How
the time.
How did we get here? Oh, but I wanted to say,
yes,
I was singing with floor monitoring, and then my teacher came to watch, and she was very amazed that I could keep pitch in such chaotic music and only having floor monitoring. That was the whole purpose of this conversation.
That was the whole purpose of this conversation.
Okay.
We're living on a tangent. That's great.
That's good.
No, but I mean, I think it's very nice and very remarkable that someone from the classical world, which is normally a very strict, very enclosed,
it's loosening up, but it used to be very, very strict. Yeah.
I think it's great that you found someone who was
a perfect fit. It was clearly meant to be.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. Yeah.
Okay. I think we've been talking about this for quite some time. So
2 hours.
Let's move to statement number 3.
Yes, we have a fan statement.
We have a fan statement. As you can remember, we ask you people to provide us with statements for the topic back to school. Once again, thank you all so very much for your submissions, because we had a lot of really great things.
Yeah, there were a lot of awesome things.
It's getting very hard to choose. But we chose one. I don't know from who this is, though.
It's Barry, and then I forgot his last name.
Barry?
But, I know him from the early days when we had shows with Ex-Libris. He used to be the drummer in a band called... I see their front woman who was Nienke. Know her? She now has purple hair. She used to have blonde hair.
I think so, yeah.
Something with mind comes to mind.
Barry...
Anyway, Barry, the drummer from a band that I used to play with together with the Ex-Libris.
Thank you, Barry, for your statement.
Sorry.
And the statement that he sent was, what would you tell your teenage self if you could go back in time?
Yeah, and because I saw this statement and it really hit me. Because not the teenage one, but especially the younger one.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was something I would want to tell her, but if I had the option to go back in time, I would give her a hug.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
I would so dearly be able to do that.
Can I tell you something really weird?
Yeah.
When I was floating, that's what I saw. I had this memory of feeling very lonely when I was little, and I saw myself, and I actually, like, in my imagination, I kind of had this like moment where I went back and gave myself a hug. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to go floating.
Let's go floating. But I had the same. I just, like, just go back and tell her, like, it's going to be okay. Don't worry.
Yeah, because sometimes the world can be so mean.
The world can be so mean.
In the end, you really have the feeling like, now I am somewhere. I wish I could tell my little self,
Yeah.
it's going to be okay.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, it is going to be okay.
It is going to be
It
okay.
is going to be okay. We will leave you with that.
Well, it's a nice thing to say. Yeah, if you are listening right now and you're in doubt or you're being bullied, please do not give up on yourself. Stay true to yourself, to who you are, and just follow your own path.
Amen.
Because that's no, without preaching, it's the only thing that will make you happy.
Yes, no, absolutely, absolutely. And please do keep in mind that no amount of popularity that you have in school translates to what you do in the real world afterwards. So
No.
just that is not important. Just do you, be yourself, and forget the rest.
Yeah.
Right?
Make a cool dating profile. Yeah.
And if you see me, no, you're not going to see me because I'm in incognito mode. Anyway.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Should we move on?
Yeah.
So, as you know, we started this podcast to learn more about one another. And, well, these stories have definitely
Opened
taught
up.
me, taught me a lot about you, a lot of things that I didn't know, which is really great.
Yeah. True, yeah.
But, our friendship is based in music. So, to celebrate that, we have a podcast playlist.
Yay!
And the podcast playlist is a playlist in which we choose songs based on the topics of every episode. And then you get to vote for your favorite song. And last time we talked about food, and you had the option to vote between Peaches from the Presidents of the United States of America.
This is coming now. Yeah.
And MacArthur Park from Donna Summer. And guess what?
Really? Congratulations.
The winner is me!
Yay!
Yay! Peaches! With 56%. Still close.
Yeah, very close.
But not close enough.
No! I feel like elementary school all over again.
No, because now we're even.
Yeah, it's a tie.
It's a tie.
It's 1-1.
So to break the tie,
Yeah. Oh.
Diana, which song did you choose in the topic Back to School?
Oh, you're so not gonna guess this one.
Really?
This one was a hit in 1999. When I was, and I had to use my calculator for this. when I was 13.
Wow.
Yeah, because 25 minus something is 13. So, and well, my head tells me it is.
There you go.
And my calculator. And it was such a big hit in the Netherlands. And I remember this was when the first years in secondary school where I actually had 3 friends. So I was really happy. And at one of the proms, this was played. And I really remember the feeling when the guitars kicked in. I like this kind of music. Okay.
I have no idea.
So, and the lyrics, because I'm really doing this long introduction now.
Sure.
Yeah. And the lyrics are so fitting for this subject, because we've just said, please stick to who you are. And because I know it's hard, and everyone in the world at some point is a wannabe. You already know?
No.
The world needs some more wannabes. No? So hey, do that brand new thing. It's Pretty Fly for a White Guy by The Offspring. So speaking about those votes, give it to me, baby.
I don't know, because I think I have a real contender.
Oh, no.
Yes, I do.
Damn it.
Yes, I do. And it's an easy choice. We don't need no
Of course.
education.
Ooh.
Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone. That's what I had to think. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you went
The
to
Wall.
Catholic school and you dare to pick a song that says, teacher, leave those kids alone. Ooh.
Art imitating life, imitating art.
Oi, oi,
honey.
oi, oi.
So, yes, Pink Floyd by the Wall is my choice.
Yeah, damn it.
Okay, so as you know, this Sunday, after the podcast episode is released, you will have the chance to vote for your favorite podcast song through our social media stories. And you can choose between...
Give it to me, baby. Pretty Fly for a White Guy by The Offspring.
Yes, or Pink Floyd's The Wall. Right. I think this is it, ladies and gentlemen, dear podcast listeners. Our third episode has come to an end.
Yeah.
But before you go, we would like to ask you to share our podcast where whomever you think might enjoy it as well. Feel free to follow us and hit that like button on our Facebook and Instagram pages. Don't forget to turn on that notification button on your favorite streaming platform. And while you're there, feel free to leave us a 5-star rating so that we might get picked up by other podcast fanatics.
Yeah.
So again, you can get to vote for your favorite song this Sunday. And we will be back with a brand new episode in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. And, well, what do you think? Are we better friends?
I hope
I think
so.
we are. I think we are.
Yeah.
See you next time.